ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां व्यासशंकरमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So in the previous introductory bhashyam of Adi Shankara, we saw tatacha vakshayati nichachya tam mrityumukhat pramuchyate. So therefore this Brahma Vidya or this Upanishad is being said for nichachyam, means definitely for, there is no doubt about it. So the Brahma Vidya will no doubt, without any, there should not be even a second thought about it, that this Brahma Vidya will definitely remove or free a person from Mrityu Mukhat. So Mrityu Mukhat means Mrityu means death, and death here, Mrityu Mukha means the face of death. So Kalaha. So Kalaha is the Mrityu Mukham, and Kalam means time. Time is always, for a person who is not a mumukshu, it is always keeps on coming and going. He'll be in time, Kala Chakra forever. So samsara is mentioned here. So pramuchyate means the person is released from this samsara chakra or Kala Chakra. So he is free from this time factor. But time is the one which actually governs everything. So it says that's why Mukti Mukha Pramuchyate. Then now he explains the importance or the need for a mumukshu to be very qualified. Means there has to be some qualification, adhikari is required. Right? So one has to work hard for getting the qualification, whether it is in profession or whether it is, if you want to study CA also, you have to study very hard. If you want to be a project manager also, you have to study very hard. You have to get the qualification, certification. So someone has to certify that, yes, you are eligible, and I can give you that position. So here also the mumukshu is supposed to be a qualified adhikari. So purvokta visheshana mumukshuna. So as said before, purva uktaha means as said before, visheshana mumukshun param brahma gamayatiti brahma gamayitrutvena yoga brahma vidya upanishad. So purvoktam, when I say as said before, purva uktaha, said. Ukta means said, purva means before. So as said before, visheshana mumukshuna. So visheshana means what? So visheshana means what? Special. So there is also something called Uttam Adhikari and Madhyam Adhikari. So Madhyam Adhikari is somebody who is actually in the middle somewhere. He's also an Adhikari. He's also a qualified mumukshu. This Adham Adhikari is not qualified. That means he's not even eligible. So, but here is talk Visheshana, means this is special Adhikari, somebody who is actually special. So this actually is for somebody who is special, or the one who is aspiring for this Visheshana Adhikaritvam. Okay, that's what it says here. So for such a qualified mumukshu, as said before, Visheshanam mumukshuna va param brahma means gamayatiti. So param brahma means what? This eternal knowledge. Or param brahma means associated with reaching the, or knowing what param brahma is, or what brahma is, brahma vidya is. Gamayatiti means reaching. So gamanam means what? Going. Or so gamayatiti means what? After reaching, or there's no reaching. Basically, he takes ownership of one's own status as Brahman. See, Brahman is not something to be acquired. You cannot go somewhere and take or try to get Brahman, Brahma Jnanam. Brahma Jnanam, you have to go to Guru, right? But you cannot go after Brahma Jnanam without knowing what Brahma Jnanam is or what you want. Correct. So that is why you cannot get this knowledge, you cannot acquire this knowledge without probably going to a Guru. And he is the person, he or she is a person who will tell you the meaning of what Brahma Jnana is, how important it is. And thereby, step by step, the person is taken to the word, the meaning of Upanishad. So we are still looking at the meaning of the Upanishad, the importance of studying this Upanishad, importance of studying this Brahma Jnanam, because anyone who comes to study, one has to understand, one has to know the phalam. Nobody wants to do any effort without knowing what is there for me. Right? So that's why he has already said what Mrityumukat Pramuchyate Nijachim tu. So he says, this is the benefit you're going to get. The benefit is already said before, that you are going to get freed from this Kala Chakra, Samsara Chakra. You will not be anymore afraid of death. Physically, death will come, you'll still be afraid. Because when really death comes in front of you, afraid means what? You will feel that yes, something is happening to me, I'm going to leave this world. Because the physical part, emotional part is something which you cannot hide. So even a jnani or wise person also cannot say that, oh, Mrityu is coming, let me laugh, let me dance. He will not do that. He will be quiet. He will also understand that yes, I am undergoing this problem. And slowly my body is not functioning. So the person actually becomes very quiet. He does not, become very agitated. He doesn't become restless. He now retracts back to his core knowledge. So he retracts back to his core knowledge. He meditates. He just understands that yes, this is only the body which is going through a change, and this body is always undergone a change right from the beginning. This is also another change. So Mrityu is not something just is change. It's a change of status. So from Kaumaram, Yavanam, Jara to Mrityu. So he understands, or he or she understands the status, and one becomes very quiet. One becomes meditative. And he or she understands the meaning of the word Mrityu Mukhat, Chachyam, right? That is what is mentioned there. So therefore, this qualified mumukshu, Visheshana mumukshunam, is this qualified mumukshu or this special mumukshu is mentioned here in this Upanishad. Why special is mentioned? Because this story or this particular Upanishad is actually addressed, or the character in this main Upanishad, the story is Nachiketa. And Nachiketa is actually not an ordinary person. He's not an ordinary boy. An ordinary boy, what he will do? He will go and play. He will, do some cheshta. He will be very, very naughty, etc. But his Nachiketa is not this person. He has already been through many janmas before, and he's only very young boy, very young, and he is somebody who is special. So therefore, this Upanishad was written, or the commentary Bhashya was written, mainly to address the importance of being something special mumukshu, or a different mumukshu, distinctive mumukshu, rather than being just I'm also pursuing Vedanta, I'm also doing this. But there should be a tivram, there should be a desire that this is my only lakshyam, and I am going to be this status. So whatever you are doing, whatever work you are doing, whatever property you are accumulating, karma you are doing, all of them should ultimately be contributing to the status of being free, ultimately. So no bandha, no emotion, nothing will be there. But if that's a difference between ordinary mumukshu and Visheshana mumukshu is mentioned here. So I had to say this to you. It's not in the Bhashyam, but Visheshana mumukshu means Uttama Adhikari, the one who is special. So Param Brahma Gamaiti iti, Brahma Gamayitruvena means through the discipline. So Yogat means what? Through the discipline of studying Brahma Vidya, one who Visheshana Mokshanam, he is the one who is eligible. He is undergoes a thorough discipline of studying the Vedas, and thereby he acquires knowledge of Brahma, or becomes, or understand what Brahman is. For that purpose, Brahma Vidya Upanishad. So this particular Upanishad is being presented here for the elucidating or praising the value of Brahma Vidya and the Mumukshu and the quality of the Mokshu. So there are two things: Guru, Shishya, Sadhanam, Sadhyam. So Sadhanam and Sadhyam are important. So Sadhanam is the Upanishad, Sadhyam is the one to be achieved. So Sadhya Sadhana Sambandha, Guru Shishya Sambandha is mentioned here. So Tatha cha Vakshayati Brahma Praptau Virajo Adibhuti Mrityuhu. Adibhuti Mrityuhu. So what it means here, thus Vakshayati, it is said that Brahma Prapto means gaining Brahma Jnanam, or after attaining Brahma Jnanam, one becomes Virajaha, one becomes pure. Abhutaha. Abhuta means what? Visualizing very clearly. So one has clear understanding, one doesn't have any clouded understanding anymore. Abhutaha. Vimuccha iti. So free from death or fear of death. See, Virajaha Abhudi Mrityuhu. Right? Abhutaha means what? Abhutaha Mrityuhu. So the one who is free from fear of death, the one who has got clear vision, the one who is pure. So this Upanishad will make a person understand what Brahman is, or take ownership of who the Brahman is, will make the person pure in his thinking, in his thoughts. It will bring clarity into his thoughts, clear the vision, and it will also free from fear from Mrityu. Right. So that is what is said in this section. Now let's go to page number 4. So in page number 4, this section or this topic presented here is called Virata Vidya Upasanam. Virata Vidya Upasanam. So the topic is called Virata Vidya Upasanam or Agni Vidya Upasanam. So Virata Vidya Upasanam, Saguna Brahma Upasanam, Agni Vidya Upasanam, all same. So all of them is called Saguna Brahma Upasana, correct? And here, Virata Vidya is also known as Agni Vidya, Agni. So in fact, in this section, Yama actually introduces, or he is supposed to introduce later, the Nachiketa Agni ritual. So Nachiketa, there is a famous ritual called Nachiketa Yajna. So Nachiketa Yajna is a very detailed bhashyam in the Karma Kanda. So we don't need to read that. But in the Karma Kanda, the boy was also asked, was given this knowledge as how to do ritual, what the ritual means, how many people are required for each ritual, what is the ingredients required for ritual, how the kundam has to be prepared, which direction has to be prepared, how many layers has to be prepared, how deep it should be there, kundam, what are the mantras to be chanted, what should not be done, what dakshina should be given, what should not be given, who is to be invited, who should not be invited. All these things are elaborately discussed. So this is all given by Lord Yama as Acharya to Nachiketa. Because initially whenever somebody is, if you go to even any of the matam, Shankara matam, see, you ask for Brahma Jnanam, you go there. Sir, I want to study Upanishad. See, what they will tell you, what they will not discourage you. They will tell you that you do these things. You do Sandhya Vandanam, you do puja, you do Shakti puja, you do this. So they will try to direct you to a section where you think they want you to do, like karma, rituals, vipassana, etc. That is because they know you can study, but probably they think that it's too hard at this moment, considering that the status where you are grahastha, you got children, responsibilities. Studying the Brahma Jnanam requires a lot of commitment, right? So you need to sacrifice something here and there, or you should be managing your time efficiently to do all these things together. Right? So that's why they discourage, or they do not say that I won't teach you. They will direct you to this decision. Same way here also, when Nachiketa goes to Lord Yama and asks, he is given this option. So that is why he says here, Virata Vidya or Saguna Brahma Upasanam is talked about here. So there are three boons he is asking. So Varam, you can say three boons. The first boon is that he sees his father doing this, Vishwa Yajna. So Vishwa Yajna means we're supposed to be the one of the greatest Yajna, the one which is, there's no other Yajna which is greater than that. So Ashwamedha Yajna is different. But here, Ashwamedha Yajna is for conquering or proving that you are unconquerable. You are the only person in the whole of the Jagat who is undefeatable. Correct? But Vishwa Yajna is actually performed for ultimately giving up all the wealth. All the wealth means what? Just not only this wealth, all wealth, including the children also. Giving up wealth in entirety. And then aspiring for Swargalokam, aspiring for a better life, or going to Swargaloka and residing there for a very long period of time. So this is why Vishwa Yajna is performed. So this, his father, Nachiketa's father also, is interested in performing this Yajna. He has taken a vow to perform this Yajna. And he has invited all the greatest Pandits, etc., and on a large scale, all the kings, everybody is there. All dhanams are being given, everything is given there. So the Nachiketa watches this whole thing. Even though he's a small boy, he's endowed with intellect. He's endowed with Shraddha in the Upanishad. He's been Astikya Buddhi also. So Astikya Buddhi and Na Astika Buddhi. So having trust in the Vedas, having trust in the Bhagavan, and doing the right thing. He's endowed with that. So he's watching those things. Somehow he feels something is not right. So when his father says that I also give this to you, to Yama, when he goes and meets Yama, he asks Yama says, I'll give you three boons. Because you're a young boy, I cannot take your life. I can't send you back. Neither I can take you here. I'll give you three boons. You choose what you want. So the first boon he asked was that let my father be given good buddhi for that what he's doing is, I think, is not right. And whatever he's doing, he should be successful and he should achieve what he wants to achieve. The second boon he asked is about understanding all the rituals. So he says, okay, if I do this ritual, if I understand what my father is doing, will I go to Swargalokam? So how will this Swargalokam be? So there, second boon also is granted, and he explains the first boon is being given, and second boon is being explained. The third boon talks about Brahma Vidya. So which is three things are asked. So this one talks about the second one called the Agni Upasanam or Virata Vidya. So Lokadihi Brahma Yajnaha Yaha Agnis Dvi Vishayaya. So Lokadihi Brahma Yajnaha Yaha Agnihi Dvi Vishayaya Vidyaya Dvitiyena Varena Prarthyamanayaha. So I'll explain this meaning again. So Lokadihi means what? Loka Adi means there are 14 lokas. 7 lokas and 7, correct? So 14 lokas are there. Adihi. So before the creation of the 14 lokas, all the knowledge which was there was present in the Parabrahma. All the knowledge was there, correct? And this Agni Dvi Vishayaya. See, Dvi means second. So the first one is not mentioned. First one, you should understand that. That's one. Second version is talked about here. But Dvi Vishayaya means what? The second boon requested by Nachiketa. Correct. And what is this Vidya? Vidyayaya Dvitiyena. The second boon is of the nature of Saguna Brahma Vidya. So you must understand it is Saguna Brahma Vidya. Varena. Varena means Varam means boon. Right? So boon. Varena Prartyamanayaha means sought by Nachiketa. So Prarthanai means there is a request by Nachiketa to teach to Yama to teach him the art or the knowledge of Virata Vidya, because the Virata Vidya is performed by his father. So his father, even though is performing all the yajna, he knows some extent. He knows something has to be given, something has to be given back, and there are some rules around that. But he does not know in entirety what those means. So in order to help his father, in order to make his father understand better, he wants to be first knowledgeable. Right? Only when you know the yajna properly, then you can advise somebody. See, if you do not know anything, you cannot advise anybody, correct? You just say, I don't know. So he first learns himself from the Yama. That's why he asked for the boon. Right? So Vishayaya means what? The second boon or the subject topic requested in the second boon is Vidyayaha. So Vidyaya means what? This is here Agni Vidya. So you must take Vidya means here Agni Vidya or Saguna Brahma Upasanam. Virata Vidya is mentioned here. So Vidyaya equal to Virata Vidya. Okay. So Dvitiya means the second type of boon, the second manner, Varena Prarthamanayaha. So means sought by Nachiketa. Then what is he asking for? Swarga Loga Phala Prapti. So Swarga Loga Phala Prapti. This is what his father is doing. See, his father is doing the exam for what? Swarga Loga Phala Prapti. He wants to go to Swarga Lokam. And when he goes to Swarga Lokam, he cannot take all these things with him. Neither you can take your son, take your daughter, you have to leave everything and go. Because the physical body in which you cannot go with the physical body also to Swarga Lokam. Assuming that this is loka like this, supposing the person has got a view, that Swarga Loka, Deva Indra is there, he's sitting in the freedom, he's had all this magical things are happening there, golden throne, etc. is there. Imagine somebody wants to go there, aspirant to go there. Right? So if you want to go there, then what you should do? You got to leave this all these things, don an adequate body or some body which is suitable for going there. Otherwise, it will be like Trishanku Maharaj, where Trishanku did not want, he wants to take the same body to Indra Loka. Indra says, you cannot come here. Vishwamitra says, I'll send you there. So it's a forever battle ending between Trishanku, Vishwamitra and Indra. That's why you always say Trishanku and Martin Murika. Why? Because you should either go or you should stay here. There's no in-between stage. See, either you go fully or you just don't, you keep trying, but you cannot say that, I will just keep going like this, I'll going. You have to cross over one day. So that's why he says here, Swarga Loga Phala Prapti Hetutvena. So the main reason for Swarga Loga Phala Prapti, then he gives why this Vajravasa is doing this yajna. He's giving here Garbhavasa Janma Jaradi Upadrava Vrindasya. So Garbhavasa means what? Every time, so Garbhavasa is supposed to be the most narakam. See, for us, for the person who is actually about to give birth is okay, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's also pain there for the woman also. But the person who's, the child who's sitting in the Garbhavasam, it is sitting like, like this, inside somewhere. It wants to come out, and all sorts of things are happening there, correct? The mother eats, ice cream, Pani puri is being eaten, all sorts of slime, etc. will be going there. Like sambar, rasam, all curry, everything will be there. So all of them is going into the body, and the child is waiting there, and the person is sitting in all the the bile, urine, etc. It's all passed there. So it is a very garbha vasam narakam. So the child wants to come out, but it cannot come out because his time has not come yet. That's why he says garbha vasa janma. So after garbha vasam, after 9 months, janma is taken. Then from there, jara. So you become balaha, kaumaram, yauvanam, jara. So you go through all the stages. Then upadravam. This upadravam means what? It is torture now. So it is actually upadravam because he is a person who wants to leave this and go everywhere. What is it? I cannot tolerate this anymore. Right? And what do you do? If you want to tolerate this anymore, you have to do something. Either you have to leave or you do some other action. So upadra vrindasya. Right? So upadra vrindasya means for the freedom from this upadravam which is caused by garbhavasa janma. Then lokantare means in this loka and other lokas. So it is not that only we are born in this loka, we would have born in another loka also. So we would have been transmigrating from other lokas, from it could be grass, it could be a worm, it could be a grasshopper, it could be a frog, amoeba, it can be anything. And from there we have transmigrated and we have evolved over a bit of time. And we have taken Janma and Mrityu, Janma and Mrityu, Janma and Mrityu. Finally, we come to this. So, Lokantare means in this Loka and another Loka also. Paunaha Punyena. Right. So, Pauna Punyena means what? Endlessly. Okay. So, there is no end to it. So, we have just been transmigrating again and again without knowing why we are doing. Pravrittasya. Correct. So Pauna Punyena, adjective Pravrittasya is endlessly. So this this Virata Vidya has got the capacity to weaken. Avasadayit tutvena, Shaitilya, Apadananena, means what? Avasadi means what? Avasadayati means which weakens. Has the power to weaken the power of this pain called Garbha Vasa Janma Jara Upadrava Vrindasya. So this Virata Vidya or this ritual being performed by the father of Nachiketa, his main aim is to free himself from all these problems. So this Virata Vidya, if it's done properly, has got the power to free oneself from this sort of problem and go to another loka which is less problematic. So in the Bhulokam this is there, but in the Swargalokam there is nothing, a long life there. You can live as long as your punyam is there, because the Virata Vidya, Virata ritual, it's got a lot of punyams up there. Imagine that you have to give everything. Everything you have to give means what? You don't have anything. So when you give everything means what? You should be a very, very generous person. You should have the mentality or the adequate mental preparation to give away everything what you like most without keeping anything for yourself. So that requires a lot of maturity, correct? So one cannot have this, even though, see, that the person may not be doing the right thing, or maybe, taking shortcut here and there. But still the thought has come to him that is, I should do this, and I want to go to Brahma Loka or this Loka. So I have to give away everything over a period of time. So he starts to give away things over a period of time. See, in the olden days also somebody will say, you take this chain, you take this ornament, you do this. Some people, old people, they give that because they do not have any value for it. So, but then they'll acquire new ones. That is not the right one. So they go to Lalita Jewellers, they buy new one, old one is given to all the daughter-in-law, etc. New ones are there. When new ones are given, again new things are bought. So that is not the way. What it says is that you should give away everything, not acquire new things. So there should be no aspiration to buy new things. there should be less aspiration, and then one should actually be in a position to give away. So this is the Virata Vidya, and if you do this Vidya, it has got a capacity for avasadayati, means it has got a capacity to weaken. It has definitely got the power to weaken or reduce this Garbhavasa Janma Janadi Upadrava Vrindasya. So this is a whole compound word that signifies what the endless transmigration of samsara, or being samsara, and the narakam associated with this constant janmam, dukkam, maranam, etc. So Shaitilya Apadhananena means the calamities. So you can say Shaitilya Apadhananena means the calamities, total calamities. Is mentioned is Dhatu Artha Yoga. So you have to connect this Virat Vidya with Dhatu Artha Yoga. Means what? Connecting with the Upanishad meaning. So we saw before the Upanishad 3 meanings, right? Upanishad meaning. So you have to connect this Virat Vidya to the Upanishad. One of the definition of the Virat Vidya is for coming near, correct? For removing the, see, Visharana Gatya Avasadaneshu. You got that word, right? So look at page number 2. There is that word, correct? Visharana Gatya Avasadaneshu Avasadayati or Unmulayati. I told you that meaning, correct? So that you have to connect to this word. Okay. So that's what says Dhatu Artha Yoga Agni Vidya Upanishad iti uchyate. So it's called Agni Vidya. So this particular section so far is called Agni Vidya Upanishad iti uchyate. So I'll read again this particular section. Lokadihi Brahma Yajnaha Yaha Agnis Dvivishayaya Vidyaya Vitiyena Varena Praptamanayaha Swargaloga Phala Prapti Hetutvena Garbhavasa Janma Janadi Upadravindasya Lokantare Pauna Punyena Bhavuttasya Avasaditvena Shaitilya Apadhananena Dhatu Artha Yoga Agni Vidya Upanishad iti uchyate. Is it clear?
What is Shaitilya?
Shaitilya
Apadhanena.
Apadhananena is the calamities. Apadhananena means calamities or the comprehensive calamities. So it refers to
Shaitilya means?
Shaitilya means comprehensive. Apadhananena means the calamities which occur due to the Garbhavasa Janma Jara Upadravindasya. Correct? So it weakens the Avasadayati Shaitilya Apadhananena. Means it's got the power to weaken the calamities which can occur due to the Garbhavasa Janma Jara Upadrava Vindasya. Correct. For that, this Agni Vidya Upanishad iti uchyate. So the Agni Vidya Upasana. So here we are talking about Saguna Brahma Upasana. We are not talking about Brahma Upasana. Here the Acharya is now presenting Saguna Brahma Upasanam or the Virat Upasanam, which is the yajna being performed for going to Swargaloka. This is what his father is doing. This is where the father's, the Nachiketa is watching the father performing the yajna, and he is, this Upanishad is written from the context point of view. Then,
Vrindasya meaning?
See, Vrindasya means the never increasing. So Vrindasya means increasing, Upadrava in Vindrasya. So it is not subsiding, it is increasing all the time. See, Garbhavasa Janma Jaradi Upadrava Vrindasya means the Upadravam is increasing all the time, which is present not in this loka and also other loka also, right? So the word Pauna Punyena Pravrittasya is an adjective for Garbhavasa Janma Janadi Upadra Vindasya. Okay, because this section, Garbhavas Janma Jaradi, means it comes again and goes again and again, again and again. Pauna Punyena means what again? Again. Pravrittasya means endlessly. So all these are endlessly, never ending, again and again. For that purpose, avasadayit. So for that particular problem which is there, for removing the calamities or apadananena, this Upanishad Agni Vidya iti uchyate. So this particular section is being presented or will be presented for the purpose of weakening the effect of the samsara. So like we say now, alpa prarabdham and prabala prarabdham. I think I told you before. See, alpa prarabdham means what? Something which is very, very mild prarabdham. Something which you can get away by prayer, by worship, by some parigaram, etc. I can do. Something can do. But if it is something very, very strong prarabdham, you cannot do anything about it. You just cannot. You have to endure it, you have to live with it, and you have to just finish it. That's all it is. Nothing will work for you. See, you may try to go to temple, you may try to do this, Shani, or some people do this, every Saturday I have to go and do for 25 years, they keep on doing that. With the view that it will go, but it never goes. it increases more. So that's why it says here what? Dandasya, Shaitali Apadananina. So total calamity comes and increasing. So the person wonders, I've been doing for so many years, nothing was working. Because the prarabdham is very strong. So when you understand prarabdham is very strong, you deal with it, you just work with it. You do not fight it. Correct. But there are some karmas, some prarabdha karmas, which can be warded off by doing some shuddhi, some sort of prayer, worship, etc. You can do that. Some people do a lot of homam, etc. at home. Sudarshan home they do, Ganapati home they do, Navagraha home they do, all sorts of home they do for warding off some effect here and there. But still, there are lingering effects. So here, this Acharya, this particular, he wants to get free from all these things. He wants to go to Svargalokam because Svargalokam is understood that is free from all these problems. There is no Janma, there is no Mrityu, there is no Vyadhi. All these people are dancing and laughing, and no pickle, nothing is there. So let me get the status. Let me become a Devaha status. Correct? That's the status. For that, this particular Vidya is presented.
Sir,
Sir
is asking for the total lifespan mukti.
Correct.
From the this thing, from the staying in the womb to the death, this thing from the.
Correct. Completely freedom from the view of life and death. That is taking birth, living a life, becoming young, again becoming old, again passing away, again taking birth in Garbhavasam, again 9 months of torture there. So it's not a torture. See, what I'm saying is torture for the child, not for the person. That actually in the Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankara actually mentions this very clearly. That the child actually thinks that, oh my God, what Papa had done to me in this place. Because it is such a place where you cannot go anywhere. And that's why as long as the child is inside, it is protected by the vagaries of outside life. It doesn't know anything about external life. It doesn't know what the Ulagam is, what the world is, what karma is, what people are doing, everything it doesn't know. It is totally protected under the guidance of the Bhagavan. So the Bhagavan takes care of the child. See, every child born is under the guidance of the Bhagavan. So there is the Bhagavan who is actually blessing the child and teaching and growing the child to its level. So the child always expects the Bhagavan to be there all the time. But when karma is over, that means his prarabdha karma has already begun because birth has already taken place. So when it comes out of the mother's womb, the child cries first because it comes into a lokam or a world which is completely unidentified before. It doesn't know what this world is. Who are these people? It doesn't know the mother, it doesn't know the father, it doesn't know anybody. It just cries first. Because suddenly the Bhagavan says, you forget me now, you go and find out your own true nature. Right? That is why this Garbhavasam is supposed to be the most difficult for a child. Right? And later on, due to the Bhagavan makes you forget the truth of what you were inside. And then you have to rediscover the truth. That's why he says here, this yajna is performed by this acharya for the purpose, or getting oneself freed from this janma mrityu jara vyadhi. Then tatacha vakshayati swargaloka amrtatvam bhajante. So thus it is said that swargaloka immortality is being sought, which is what in the Kathopanishad section 1.1.13 ityadihi. So it is said later on. So tatacha vakshayati means it is said swargaloka amrtatvam. So swargaloka means what is of amritam, as immortality, bhajante. So people actually pray for this. So let me go to Shivalokam, let me go to Vaikuntham. I think all of us know, right? See, Vaikuntham pona borum ba abdimba, Paramapadam pona abdimba, Moksham na ardhana, Shivalokam pona abdimba. So it's a common thing. Everybody says, where do you want to go? Shivaloka prapti adanya porum ba, Vaikuntham pona abdimba. The same thing is asked here. This person also asks the same thing here. So this is what people are aspiring for. Every common person is aspiring for Shivalokam only. They want to go to some place where they will be free from all this pickle, problem, etc. Correct. Then there's an objection raised. See, there's always somebody out there. I mean, the objection is not by the Purva Paksha, it is actually a question. So it says, Nanu cha Upanishad Chabdena Adyetaraha. First I'll read this, then I'll tell you the meaning. Okay? Nanu cha Upanishad Chabdena Adyetaraha Grantamaya Abilapanti.
Grantamapi.
Grantamaya Abilapanti. So Grantamaya means talk about the Upanishad. So Abilapanti means talk about. And Grantamaya means of the Upanishad or about the Upanishad. Then Adhyapayamaha means the teacher. Teacher. So what it says here, Nanu means what? There is a doubt. But what is a doubt? There is a doubt that the Upanishad word is being used by people for not associating with Brahma Vidya. But it is used for Adyetaraha, means what? Chanting. So the words of the Upanishad is being used by the teacher and by the students. They chant Upanishad. And what Grantamaya Abilapanti. So they talk about the Upanishad, they talk about the chanting is done, and the meaning of the words are being explained. Then, but what are they saying? They are saying Upanishadam Mahe, Dhimahe, Adhyapayamaha iti cha. So what saying? I'm saying that they are learning the Upanishad. So see, when you say, what are you studying? I am studying Sikshavali. I am chanting Sikshavali. So Sikshavali is what? Is Taittiriya Upanishad, right? So when somebody says, I am learning Taittiriya Upanishad now from the teacher. So what are you learning? I am learning to chant Taittiriya Upanishad. So this is what is said here. But Taittiriya Upanishad word itself means what? Brahmagyan, correct? We saw that. And so is it right to say that I am actually using the word Upanishad for Adyetaraha, for chanting? So Nanu cha Upanishad Shabdena, the words of the Upanishad is being used for Adyetaraha, means for chanting, Grantamaya Abilapanti. So the Upanishad is being talked about or is being chanted by the Adhyapayamaha. The teacher says, I am teaching the Upanishad, or I am I'm teaching the chanting of the Upanishad, iticha, etc. Says, okay. So the objection is what? Is it right for the teacher or the student to say that I am learning the Upanishad? So when I say learning, I'm not learning Brahma Vidya. I am only learning the chanting of the Upanishad. So is that the correct use of the word Upanishad? Is what is asked. Is it the right objection? It is correct. Right? So somebody will ask, we are learning Upanishad, right? Yes. So what are you learning? Are you learning the meaning of Brahma Vidya? No. So what is Brahma Vidya? I don't know. But I'm chanting Upanishad. I can chant very clearly all the Upanishad by heart. So then you're not learning Upanishad. Somebody will tell you. No, I am learning Upanishad only, sir. I'm learning Taittiriya Upanishad. I know to chant all the vallis by heart. But the other person says, no, it is not. So is it correct to do this or not? This is an objection. Right? So this is an objection by Adi Shankara. He puts his own confusion there to say whether people, when they say like this, is it okay to say this or not? But he says here, evam naisha doshaha. So there is nothing wrong in using the word Upanishad as a text. So it means what? There is nothing wrong in saying that you are learning Upanishad or you are chanting Upanishad, but avidyaditi samsara hetu visharanadaihi means what? But the ignorance caused by samsara. Avidyadhi means what? See, you can say the word Upanishad, you can say I am learning Upanishad, but this chanting will not get you freedom from avidya. So mere chanting of the Vedas, mere chanting of the Upanishad is not enough because it is only for academic purpose, it is only for satisfying oneself that I know the Vedas, I can chant. But without knowing the meaning of the Vedas, without knowing what it is going to, sadhyam if you do not know, then sadhanam is of no use. Sadhyam has to be first understood. Then only sadhanam will come to use. Right? So if you just go after only sadhanam after all the time, without knowing what sadhyam is, the ultimate goal, then this, you can say that I am learning, but it is not going to give me any benefit. That's what it says here. Avidyati samsara hetu visharanadaihi means removal of ignorance. So sad iti dhatu artasya means what? The dhatu, the word meaning is, the Upanishad meaning should be understood. Sad dhatu iti artasya has to be understood as what? The Upanishad is supposed to be for removing avidya, samsara, hetu, visharanadaihi means for removal of ignorance. That's the word one should use for Upanishad. And you can say the word Upanishad orally, but it is not going to help you in anything. Right? So then he says what? Sadi iti dhatu artasya grantha matre asambhavat. So grantha matre asambhavat, not just by mere chanting of the Upanishad or reading of the Upanishad, vidyayam cha asambhavat means what? It is not possible for one to attain Brahmajnanam. So asambhavat means what? It is never possible for a person to attain Brahmajnanam just by merely chanting the Vedas. So Acharya says very clearly here, yes, you can learn chanting, etc. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand one thing, that mere chanting will only be for academic interest, for knowing that you know the Vedas. But really you don't know anything because it is not going to be of any use to you, because it is not going to free you from avidya, samsaraha, visharanadehi, means what? Removal of ignorance. So it is not going to free you. Therefore, grantha matre asambhava. So mere chanting, reading is not recommended. Only by vidyayam cha sambhava. Means what? Only by knowledge, only this Upanishad will be of benefit to you. So this objection is being raised because there are some you will come across. See, Brahma Vidya, what is Brahma Vidya? You should first know how to learn chanting first. You first learn proper chanting, etc. Then we talk about it. You go and ask the person, sir, can you teach me Brahma Vidya? He says, yeah, I know only chanting. I can teach only chanting. If you want to know meaning of Upanishad, you go to some other teacher. Bhashyam teacher is there, you go there. So for the person whom you are learning, it is of no use. Because the Bhashyam teacher also can teach you chanting. He can teach you also Brahma Vidya. So both are important. So what he says is here, you understand that mere chanting is not enough. It is okay to chant because you should know to turn the pages in the mind without looking at the book. So when you chant the mantra, you must not be referring to the book. I mean, at least some mantras should know, not all of them. So you should be, oh, when the teacher is saying, oh, Brahmavid apnoti param, tadesha yukta, satyam jnanamanantam brahma. So you chant the mantra, right? So you know the mantra. So Brahmavid apnoti param means the person who thinks is Brahman is already attained Brahman. Right? Tadesham yuktaha. Satyam jnanamanantam brahma, yo vedanhitam guhayam, paramet yo man. Right? So it says here. So those things are all required for a person initially to understand. After that, one must not stop at that. Some people, what they do, see, chanting the interest, sir. I'm not interested in meaning. Chanting, I like doing that. So chanting, come to chanting class. The moment you say Brahma Vidya, all things, I'm not interested, sir. Because they are not ready. For them, they don't want to be knowing, they don't want to know the meaning of this. But Shastra, what it says here is that Evam Naisha Doshaha. So there is nothing wrong with the teacher saying I'm teaching Upanishad, because he is teaching Upanishad. But if the teacher is teaching only Upanishad, the chanting, if he's not explaining the meaning of what Upanishad is, then the purpose of will not be beneficial to him, also the student. Right? That's what it says here. Avidyati samsara hetu visharanadaihi sadi sad iti dhatu artasya. So you should connect the dhatu means what the word dhatu, Upanishad root word dha. So connected with the word avidyati samsara hetu visharanadaihi. Grantha matre asambhavat. So just by chanting, you are not going to get any meaning, benefit out of it. Vidyayam cha sambhavat. So only by knowing the meaning, you will get the benefit of it. So Granthasyapi tadapyena tachabda upattehe. So therefore, this argument is tenable. So upattehe means what? Tenable or acceptable. So therefore, in this argument is acceptable or is a correct argument, because the Upanishad Shabdam means this. It is not mere chanting. This chanting also understanding the meaning of Brahma Vidya is acceptable argument. So tadartyena tachabda upattehe. So upattehe means what? Tenable or acceptable. Then he gives example here in Taittiriya Samhita. So Taittiriya Samhita is a very huge textbook. So one is another about some 1,000 mantras are there. But you don't need to go through this. But he quotes, if you want to read this, section 2.3, number 11. Ayurvaihi Ghritam Ityadi Vathe. See, Ayurvaihi Ghritam means what? Ghritam means ghee. See, Ghritam means ghee. Right? So, Ajyam and Ghritam, there are two things. Right? Ajyam means what? Ghee that is melted in the sun. Correct? Ajyam means what? Ghee that is melted in the sun cannot be consumed, should not be consumed. Ghritam means ghee or butter that is, you heat the butter and then you get ghee, right? That can be consumed, right? So Ghritam means the ghee when melted from butter can be consumed. Ajyam means the butter which you are getting, by keeping in the sun. The ghee you are getting from keeping in the sun cannot be consumed. It can be only do for ahuti only. It can only be used for rituals. The ghee which you are clarified butter you're using, right, in the fire, that has to be consumed. So what it says here is Ayurvaihi Ghritam. When they say, see, somebody takes ghee. See, somebody is consuming ghee, right? It is expected that he or she enjoys a lifespan. See, the Shastram says that in Ayurveda that if you have regular name, it is contrary to what people say here. See, my uncle used to be, I was a very small boy, and when I was very small, maybe I must be in year 6 or year 5, and half the time I used to spend time in Delhi. I studied in Delhi in Pusa Road, the high school. And my uncle is a very accomplished, person in terms of Rudram chanting, etc. He is a very accomplished person, sought after person in all the Tirupur, Anbargal, Bhajanai and all these things. He's very active. So all my uncles, mami, everything, they come from the tradition of all the Bhajanai, Kirtana people. Sadhu Santas used to come all the time there. So they always used to have this Pradosham. Every time Pradosham means there will be about 100 people will come and there will be Rudram chanting, etc. I used to just watch. Half the time I would never know what they're chanting, but I'll be there sitting in front of the uncle and this particular thing what says here, this is Shankar, ghee khao akal badhao, he says. See, ghee khao akal badhao means what? The person who eats ghee has got the intellect. So the ghee has got the capacity for the sharp memory and retaining of memory. Because it is clarified butter which is melted, not the ajam, the ghritam. So he says here that ghritam ayurvaihi ghritam means what somebody takes ghee, he or she enjoys a long life, it is understood. However, it is not to be taken that ghee is longevity. Okay. It should not be taken that ghee is longevity, but it is a producer of the cause of longevity. So ghee itself should not be taken for longevity, but it is a producer of longevity. So just by having ghee, see what it says, you have a ghee in front of you, right? I've got ghee. What is the use of having a ghee? You have to consume it. You have to enjoy it. No, I have got ghee in my hand. So I know Upanishad by heart. What is the point of knowing Upanishad by heart? You must use it. You must know the meaning of it. So the example given in the Samhita is that Ayurvaihi Ghritam. Just as having a ghee in your hand and not able to consume, and you're not able to consume because you don't want to. I would like to just have the ghee in my house. What's the point of having ghee in your house when you can't consume it? So he says you have the ghee, you enjoy the ghee, and then you enjoy Ayurvaihi, long life. Same way here also he says, you study the Upanishad chanting, you enjoy the Upanishad, and then you have freedom from Mrityu. So the example is given like that, connection. So the example is given just for understanding that, to connect it. Okay. So the emphasis given here is the Upanishad should be studied initially with the teacher Acharya, not to be learned individually. You cannot learn on chanting by YouTube. You must never learn chanting by somebody recording something. You must learn direct from a person who has been taught by another teacher. After learning the method of chanting properly, all the swaras are correct, then one must approach the Acharya, the teacher, for understanding what the meaning of this teaching is. Then the teaching becomes not mechanical chanting, it becomes a mananam or nididhyasa. So that is what is mentioned here. So I'll just read once again. Nanucha Upanishadena Adyetaraha Grantamaya Abilapanti Upanishadam Dhimahe Adhyapayamaha Iticha. Evam Nesha Doshaha. So there's nothing wrong with this. Avidyati Samsara Hetu Visharanadaihi Sadi means Sad iti Dhatu Attasya Grantamatre Asambhavat Vidyayam cha Sambhavat Grantasyapi Tadartyena Tachabda Papattehe Ayurvaihi Ghritam Ityadi Vata. Is it clear? Maybe I'm reading too fast. You're able to follow, right? I'm used to reading fast, this kind of bhashya. Etc. In the Gurukulam, etc., they read very fast. They will not wait. They'll keep one sentence after another sentence. This means this, or this means this. They'll just, next. Like this. So you got all the meanings of the words, right? Dr. Uma, you got all the meanings? Radhaji, you're okay? All?
Yeah, fine, Sankar.
Okay. Deshankar, you are comfortable? This is very easy, very easy. Upanishad compared to the kind of Upanishad. Because this, but it has got good meaning. See, it gives you some, every Upanishad gives you the importance of why you're doing this. See, Kena Upanishad doesn't teach you that. It teaches Brahma Vidya directly. Here it talks about the Saguna Brahma Upasana. So why we are doing ritual, why you are doing chanting, and if somebody tells you that chanting matram borum sir, you want to pannavana, some comment on Sandhyavandana pannale or moksha vandana sir abimba. You know who I'm talking about. இந்த நித்திய கர்மா பண்ணா மாத்திரம் உங்களுக்கு வந்து மோட்சம் கிடைச்சிடும், இதெல்லாம் படிச்சு பிரயோஜனம் கிடையாது, நீங்க நித்திய கர்மா பண்ணிட்டு இருப்போம் அப்படின்னா. Because they are the karma kandis. So karma kandis cannot go, they cannot agree with jnana kandis. They are totally opposite. See, light and darkness are opposite, correct? So karma kandi will never agree with jnana kandi. Jnana kandi will agree with karma kandi because, oh, நீங்க அது பண்ணால் benefit தான், but ultimately I am good because you need to do this. But he won't tell the person that, you know, what you're doing is right and correct. Everything is okay. You keep doing what you're doing. But namakita varadinga. You don't come and interfere with what I'm doing. Let me pursue what I'm pursuing. Right? So the jnani has an understanding of karma kanda also, not to the extent of what is karma, because he's only doing only that. But jnanam is supposed to be much bigger. Because in jnanam everything is, it's like a big whole thing. And karma kanda is something in between there. That's why sometimes it comes, you know, whenever I meet somebody or some classes, purposely they make, because I teach Brahma Vidya, I teach Bhasham. Sometimes they'll come and tell, I heard that you're teaching all these things, etc. But they are also okay. So I don't take negative or anything like this. That's what they're interested. So, but our purpose is, this is a good session, and we should learn to study Brahma Vidya. The Brahma Vidya will ultimately, slowly will actually lead you to jnana, to freedom from samsara. It will definitely help you. There's no doubt about it. It will bring you positivity. It will bring you better way to manage life. Be a little bit more relaxed. Able to handle situations better. Be your own self. These are the things which Brahma Vidya does. You'll yourself see the transformation over a period of time. Sometimes you'll become very useless to somebody, but this will be useful to yourself. Very important. So with this, we
useless to the family.
Correct. See, I get to say, Yashinka, you're not the only one. So she has been asking me to go Udaya for last 1 week. I told her every time she'll come to me, she says, I'm not free. Because only when I'm running the class, at that time Udaya will come. So Jnanodaya means Udaya market will come at that time only. I told her I'm not free. 9 o'clock onward, do you want to come? So I'm very tired, I can't go. She said, I'm ready to go at 9 o'clock. Do you want to come? No, I don't want to go at 9 o'clock. So this is a common situation. So I'm not used to it. So it's okay, don't worry about it. 1 week land, nothing is going to happen. So nothing is possible. You know, there's nothing in the house. He said, what? There's something always in the house. You can manage with what you've got there. So you'll get used to this. Okay? And later on, they will not come to you for anything. They know, oh, class irukka. So automatically all your duties will reduce. So it used to be once a month or once in 2 months. Now it has become once in 1.5 months or 2 months now. So I go there only once because one hour time to come. It just takes too much time. He said, whatever you want to buy, you buy. Don't 2 months, you don't go there. So it is a common situation, not only with you, everybody. So, but it will help you deal with that correctly, without upsetting somebody. At the same time, finding time for yourself. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste. Shubhradri to all of you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Ji.
Namaste.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, Sonaji. Thank you.